Well, hello there and a very warm welcome to you to this Clip by Horse TV in-out studio preview of Day 5 at the 2026 FEI World Championships in Aachen. Amy Park's here with you and a pleasure it is to be with you as we look ahead to the very first Saturday of this 2 weeks of competition. So much to come our way, of course. This World Championships has provided scintillating sports so far. What's ahead on Day 5?
Behind every victory and before every cheer, there is a story waiting to be told. It's about all the chapters written away from the spotlight, where partnerships are forged in silence and teamwork drives one shared journey. And now, a new chapter begins.
Presented by Hooveler.
Well, this is a very special preview, and someone who is so excited about what lies ahead in the next few minutes is the man who joins me in the studio from Equestrian's Dermot Byrne. Welcome. Look at you, just like contained.
I'm trying to remain professional. I'm trying to keep a lid on it. But you're right. I mean, in your opening, we're talking about scintillating sport. There is so much at play. We didn't touch on anything about what happens on Saturday in Aachen across all of our reviews. You're trying to save it all for this because Friday was so busy. Tomorrow we will see freestyle dressage medals won. We won't see eventing medals won. We will see them lost. You know, there is the 20 penalties and the problems cross country. That's what will leak away. They won't be won, but you've got to be in the running by Saturday evening. An absolutely huge day awaits on Saturday.
Huge day awaits. So what does it entail? What does the sport look like across the course of Saturday? It is, of course, Day 5 of this World Championships. 8:30 in the morning local time sees the next stage of the vaulting kick off. Our first medal day in that particular discipline. So exciting stuff over in Ring 3. At 9:15 a.m. we see the cross country. The very, very adrenaline-filled, exciting, action-packed day that we're expecting from the cross country at 9:15. German time, and of course at 7 p.m. so an evening performance for the final medal performance from the dressage, that Grand Prix freestyle. So the whole day is covered. You don't need to go anywhere from morning until all the way into the next day almost with the dressage. So plenty to come your way. The first discipline we're going to take a look at and a deep dive into is the eventing. It's provided so much fantastic sport so far, and it's so much to come with this cross-country phase. Rosie Russell explains how it will work.
This is cross-country, the phase that will have you on the edge of your seats. This is where you will see that these event horses have the heart of a lion and athleticism like you've never seen before. After dressage, horse and rider leave the arena behind and head out across the countryside to tackle one of the toughest challenges in equestrian sport. They gallop across 3.5 miles of varied terrain at 570 metres per minute. The course is filled with solid fences, water complexes, ditches, drops and combinations designed to test courage and fitness. Unlike show jumping, these fences do not fall down. The challenge is to jump them cleanly while staying as close as possible to the optimum time. But cross-country is about more than speed. Go too slowly and 0.4 of penalty will be added for every second over the optimum time. Push too hard and mistakes can happen. Jumping penalties can be picked up in many ways, including refusals, breaking safety devices, and missed flags. The best riders find the perfect balance between pace and accuracy. This is a phase where riders can climb the leaderboard, protect their lead, or see their medal hopes disappear in a matter of minutes. One refusal or one costly time penalty can make all the difference. As with every phase of eventing, the score that each combination finishes on will count towards both the team and individual medals. At the FEI Eventing World Championship, cross country is where bravery, trust and partnership are put to the ultimate test.
Well, there you have it. Let's not hang around, Dee. Let's dig straight into the analysis, because there is so much to analyse, so many numbers to look at, so many outcomes, so many narratives.
You're absolutely right. There's a couple of different ways of looking at it, Amy. I mean, I wanted to start off with a bit of a historical look, because one piece that I will often remind people is, in terms of jumping clear on, you know, at five-star level or at, you know, at senior championship level, it's a big challenge. You know, the average is going to be about 1 in 2, about 50%. And you can see that there. Now, that does go back. If you look back to the last time that we had a World Championships at Aachen, 2006, look at the cross-country clear rate. So you can see as you move across the screen how many people started, how many people XCJ, that means jumped, so cross-country and jumped clear. Only 27 of the 76 starters. Now, we have changed the sport a little bit in that you've seen that creeping up. By the time you got to Tryon in 2018, which was won, might I remind you, by All-Star B with Ros Cantor, who I think will have a major say here this time with Lordship Scrafolo. But you can see on this screen how the sport has adapted a little bit. And you can see the time penalties, the jumping penalties. Don't be surprised if we're somewhere about 60% to 70% in terms of jumping clear. Now, the lady on screen at the moment is currently in 4th position. And you might say that's an unusual place to start. Why not start with the leader in terms of what they have? Julia Krajewski, of course, has won Aachen, but has only been inside the time once with nickel over 37 internationals. When you see Ros Cantor there on screen, their 5-star form, their championship form, their ability to jump clear, their ability to make the time is pretty much unrivaled in the sport right now. I think we're living in an era of Lordship Scrafolo as one of the greats. Early prediction from me, I think by tomorrow evening it may be the case, and I think that's where my heart is lying at the moment, or my head is pushing me at the moment. I think Lordship Scrafolo leads by tomorrow evening. Yeah. It seems strange that feels like you're going out on a limb, because we've been to so many competitions, Amy, where Lordship Scrafolo is of course going to lead.
Yeah.
But in this competition, of course, the two people that are sitting ahead of them are Laura Collett with London 52 and Fisher Chipmunk with Michael Young, of course, and I mentioned Julia as well, who's leading. Here we're looking at Laura's record. That 20 back in 2022 that you see on the jumping penalties on the left-hand side, that came at Pretoni as they came down this famous or notorious hill, I should say, really at Pretoni. London 52 ducked out to the right. Other than that, they've been pretty flawless, pretty perfect at championships. The one thing I would say is London 52 is now 17. Fisher Chipmunk is now 18. And we've seen with Julia and Nickel that they have leaked time penalties in the past. That's what's driving me towards the horse currently sitting in 4th place. Incredible jumper, incredible speed, and that's Lordship Scrafolo. There is one horse, I think, in the sport who at the moment rivals Lordship Scrafolo on the toughest days. And that's an Irish horse, and it's Colorado Blue with Austin O'Connor. Now, they're going to start a little bit further down the order. They're currently sitting in 14th position, and they're sitting alongside Gemma Stevens there. Very similar score with Flash Cooley. They're two of the horses I want to highlight. Again, on screen, what you're seeing at the moment. And I like to put an image on, but in this case, I actually wanted to show just how many Olympics, badmintons, World Games, Burleys, 5-star at Maryland, which they won. This is a horse that goes to the top level, thrives on stamina tests. What impact will the heat play? How will people go longer and take options? In this case, this test that we're watching now on screen, that is his best ever championship test for Austin O'Connor. He needed the platform. If he was sitting on maybe a score of about 33, the impact of the speed would not be as much as it's going to be tomorrow. He has put himself in the position, currently 14th. Very surprised, very, very surprised if Austin O'Connor is not just outside or alongside the top 5 by tomorrow evening.
Yeah, and definitely one to keep an eye on, as you say. And we have said no bias whatsoever. There's no nationality bias there.
The
numbers don't lie.
The number in this case, the numbers don't lie. I would highlight alongside him, and a horse that I'm going to talk about towards the end here is riding as an individual. Riding on the team is Gemma Stevens with Flash Cooley. Flash Cooley has finished on their dressage score. This combination, they finished on their dress score. So that means adding no penalties, both in terms of cross-country jumping and in terms of time. for their last 4 top-level competitions, so 4-star and above. If they do it tomorrow, it'll be a record. Flash Cooley, Gemma Stevens, I think really, really under the radar.
Let's talk about the time then.
Let's talk about the time. I mean, you've got the horses that you're seeing on screen now. We've touched on Lordship Scraflow. I mean, it's an absolutely incredible record. And the times that Lordship Scraflow is not making the time, by the way, is one of them is the very, very wet Badminton. And on that day, they were still one of the fastest horses. We've talked about pretty much all of the others, but I want to highlight here Sophia Hill, Humble Glory. They're going to play a major role on the Australian team tomorrow afternoon. Sophia Hill is going to go early. What I would love to bring everyone's attention to here is you've got to be up at 9:15 or 9:30 to watch this, because they're going to be early and Gemma Stevens is going to be early. And if Sophia Hill doesn't make the time or Gemma Stevens doesn't make the time, I don't think many will. That's your best early read. Sophia Hill and Humble Glory are also one of the best show jumping combinations left, in this competition, which means that as are Gemma Stevens, Flash Cooley. One is in 67th position, Sophia Hill. Gemma in 16th. I think both of them are in the top 10 by Sunday evening. It starts early. They're your early reads, Humble Glory and Gemma Stevens. There's nothing too surprising, I would say, on this. These are your top speed horses. One of the challenges that we're going to hear everyone talking about, all the feedback we're getting is you've got to go straight, Amy. These are all horses that will go straight. They will take the risks. They will take the most difficult lines. The horses that take all the options, the irony and the challenge for those guys is maybe less experienced, but on a hot day in Aachen, you could be adding a minute up to 2 minutes by taking all of the options. The stamina is going to kick in. So even with the less experienced horses, it's going to be a stamina test. Even if you're not taking those very, very challenging lines that the top ones will. In terms of taking the challenging lines, I'd love to bring your attention to the best jumpers in the field. I think this is always an interesting way of looking at it. Jessica Phoenix there topping it with Fluorescent Adolescent, a beautiful and kind of a spectacular horse to watch. Austin O'Connor, Colorado Blue, we've touched on. Yulia Krajewski, I mentioned has the propensity to leak a little bit of time penalties, but not many. And in terms of the quality of their jumping, they stand out. That's why they're so high on the list. You also see Nicolas Touzon with Diablo Month. They're currently just outside the top 5. This, for me, is a really, really interesting list. That XCJ10 adjusted, that's taken into account how much above average, essentially, they have been against the courses they have taken on. But the best jumpers will take the fastest lines and then will take the most difficult lines tomorrow. That will save them a little bit on the stamina piece, but they are still absolutely going to need speed. And when you come here, I looked at the speed pieces, and this, what you're seeing on screen now, this metric that we have called the top speed percentage, it takes a look at how much faster you have been than the combinations that you were competing against on that day. So, for example, it's not taking into account average time penalties or things like that because every horse competes in different conditions. Look at 2 of the individuals at the very top of the list, neither riding on a team, Caroline Harris with D-Day and Tammy Smith with Lillette 3. Now Lillette, for me, is fascinating. They are so fast that I cannot help but think they'll have a jumping problem or they're going to go into the top 3 or 4 by tomorrow evening. I think they make the time if they jump clear. A fascinating story. You think of the size of the US, you think of the excitement around the horses in the US. Big controversy, I would say. Not necessarily publicly, but I think Lillette being left off the team as a Kentucky winner, but who had a jumping problem just before. Fascinating story. But that list gives you an idea of the fastest ones, the ones that to take your read from. I've mentioned Sophia Hill. I would say Lillette and Tammy Smith are absolutely in that list as well. There is so much to cover. There are so many ways into this. There are so many places to look at. Tomorrow, I would say, we're up early. We're going to try and get it across all the social channels and try and bring everyone into that story.
We certainly are, and being up early is the prime thing. Now, the riders have been out and had a look at this course, obviously been walking it throughout the course of the last days, and we've been lucky enough to hear some of their reactions.
The first impressions is beautiful, an absolute masterpiece, of course, and you really have to switch on the brains for this one. It's going to be fast, it's tight and windy.
He's given us a lot of options, so that I think allows horses and people to get home. But it's just a time test and how many risks you want to take, and that's what makes our sport so special.
If you really ride on the first straight routes, it's going to be a real championship track, I think.
Technical enough, few big jumps. I think a few combi are more 5 stars, and I think Saturday will be exciting.
I think it's going to be fast and furious. You know, it's not easy building a test that can attract, that can test the world's very best, yet enable some of those lesser nations to get round safely. The long options are extremely long, much easier. But obviously, you know, those that are here to win are going to have to take on those direct routes, and the difficulty goes up tenfold.
Yeah, impressive. We will see a lot of good things, I think.
Well, the eagle-eyed amongst you will have spotted our celebrity coursewalker there amongst those reactions from our riders. Of course, Ingrid Klimke we're very lucky to have her actually, having been out and walked that course on our behalf, thanks and courtesy to our sponsor, Huvela. And actually, we were lucky enough to hear from her as she tackled one of the main challenges. Let's take a look.
Hello, I'm Ingrid Klimke. I'm the ambassador of Huvela, and I'm very proud to be here. Wow, this is quite a drop down, and for sure you right away have to land in this direction, ride the circle, maybe 7, maybe 8 strides. Most important is that when you angle the brush, you must have the narrow one, the last one, 17 DE, totally on your line. So this element is really narrow. There's no tree, no help here, left or right. And you see how wide it is. So the horses have to be focused on the line and really bold and courage and jump directly over it. And the flags are really narrow. The management of the horses is very important because they have to be so fit. They have to be full of energy. And when they come here to the finish line, and you know this is a tight course where every second counts, there have to be still some reserves in their tanks. For me, nutrition is a big part of that.
Well, a big thanks to Ingrid and to, of course, our sponsor partner in Huvela for putting that together. We're going to hear more from her over the course of the coming days, just about her thoughts on some of those challenges, challenges laid by the man himself. You'll have heard his name bandied about a bit in the last few days. It's Giuseppe Della Chiesa, and Nicole was lucky enough to grab some time with him.
Oh, the man of the moment. Giuseppe, what have you got in store for us this week?
Well, a World Championship.
That's what we like to hear. Okay. How tough is it out there?
Well, I think it's tough if you want to be quick and in the time. And okay, but I still think there is a place for everybody. I think we really made a big effort to try to have a route for everybody. I think there is there, and I think everybody that comes to the championship should deserve to finish. He needs to make the right choices for his level of experience and the level of his horse. Today, in 2 years' time, they might be all champions, but today they're not all champions, so there are many routes out there.
And in terms of Aachen as a venue, it's a pretty compact site, it's twisty, it's turny. There's a lot that comes up very quickly. Intense, I think, is the word that springs to mind for me.
Yes, I would say that this is a very typical characteristic of Aachen. Normally there is a short course here, but even now that we have a longer track, it still comes very quickly. It's very, the venue is very compact, so you come and come back. It will be very good for spectators, but the horses might sometimes be a bit confused because they pass through fences, they don't jump, and then they come again and they jump them. So this is quite interesting and different.
Is there one fence out there in particular that you think might cause trouble?
Well, I would think the course.
Ah.
I would not say that any specific fence. I think fence 17 is could be a bit different from other, is a bit new, let's say. But
That's
in principle, I think that is the drop down.
The drop down,
the drop
to the angled
down,
brush.
you need to have control immediately. And well, first of all, you must drop down, not stop on top, and then have control. But I think in general, the course as such.
Now, the Equa Ratings team are going to be talking about speed and how tough it is to make the time here in Aachen. How many make it?
Very difficult question, as always, but I won't run away. I would say 5 to make a number, but it will all depend a lot on the tactics, because this is a team competition. So everything can change after the first rotation of the riders or whatever, depending on what is happening. Maybe many of the orders of the chef will be to go maybe some alternative, and then we might have much less in the time. But I don't think it will be very easy to get.
He said 5. First of all, I'm glad you didn't run away, Giuseppe, and you gave us an answer on those. Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Yeah, huge thanks to Nicole and, of course, to Giuseppe. Dee and I just saying the absolute master there. 5 is Giuseppe's lucky number, so what will it be? Will we be close? Key time's going to come up there for you then. As Dee was rightly saying, early doors, you want to have a look at some of these riders going off across the country. One of those we identified, Gemma Stevens, will be a really good indicator, Dee, if we're going to make the time. She heads off at about just 7 minutes after 10 local time. This will be important to look for. Getting down throughout the course of the day, then we look at Tom McEwen. Of course, lots of eyes on Tom. He's got lots and lots of fans. He'll come out just before 12 o'clock. Another one you said keep a keen eye on there, Dee, at 12:59 German time, Monica Spencer, an artist, of course, one to look for, speedy.
Thoroughbred speed, absolutely, You're right. And again, an Irish horse there and Cooley Nutcracker following them. So you're looking at that just around that lunchtime mark where, you remember, Amy, we saw artist and Monica Spencer at Maryland last year on this show, and what a spectacle it was to watch them cross country. They won't have the galloping lanes this time, but unbelievable. And then Austin there, of course.
Yeah, Austin, really good lineup there. Austin O'Connor, Julia Krajewski and Laura Collett there in that middle band around the 1 p.m. slot. And then later in the afternoon, Andrew Hoy with that incredible performance in the dressage, racing into the cross country aboard Vasily de Lassos at 2:55, 3:19. We see Mickey Young. Again, there'll be lots of eyes on that one. And then Ros Cantor at 3:35. So plenty to look out for as the cross country phase takes centre stage at Aachen on Saturday, day 5. Of course, Dee, you'll be bursting with fruit flavour tomorrow morning, bright and early, ready to watch that one.
I actually find this hard to give. I find it hard to give you a one-word answer because it is an unbelievably exciting and so many ways in, so many stories to unfold. But we'll be back here on the other side of it, Amy. And I don't know what state you'll find.
We don't know what state he's going to be in. We wish we could stay with you for a lot longer right now to dissect it all before we get there. But come and join us after the cross-country finish and see how he pulls up. We want to get to dressage now. Dee, I know you've become a real convert. You've been studying this with forensic intensity throughout the course of the week. It's the final medal decision in the dressage tomorrow night. It's the freestyle. I've been referring to it as the one where everybody gets their Kleenex out because everybody's going to be weeping. It's the beautiful performances to music, as we said, a favourite of Snoop Dogg. And we're really looking forward to seeing it. The first thing we want to do before we get into talking about it, though, is we want to understand how this part of the competition works, and Rosie Russell does just that.
This is what every dressage rider has been working towards. The Grand Prix Freestyle. The individual World Championship final. Only the best 18 combinations qualify for this stage with a maximum of 3 riders per nation. Unlike the previous tests, riders perform their own choreographed routine set to their own music, and each program is unique. This is where the combinations look as if they're dancing to the music and putting their best hoof forward on the dance floor. It's your chance to see if you can guess the song and groove to the tracks as well. While the music and the choreography may be different, the challenge remains the same. The judges are looking for technical excellence, artistic quality and harmony between horse and rider. The highest score wins and there are no further rounds. just one performance to decide the medals. The atmosphere is electric, the pressure is immense, and every mark can change the leaderboard. So watch for the combinations that hit every beat and moonwalk better than Michael Jackson, because when the final score appears, only one rider will become the FEI Dressage World Champion.
Well, certainly an evening's worth of viewing worth waiting around for. 7 p.m. that kicks off on day 5, of course, Saturday evening. So, but Dee, what we do know about that freestyle is Patrick Kittle. There'll be no Guns N' Roses in Aachen. No Guns N' Roses. That's usually what we hear Skittles come out to. He is not contesting the freestyle. And Katharina Hemmer, after that medal performance on day 4 in the special, not contesting the freestyle.
Yeah, again, I think like a disrupted kind of preparation to what we're going to see tomorrow, which is a very carefully considered routine for all of these riders, a carefully curated spectacle. So no Katharina tomorrow, but lots and lots that we do have, and lots to get into in terms of how this plays out. We saw today, Amy, as Catherine Dufour went past 80 as the first person to do so, there was still 4 to go. And the 4 are all the major contenders that we're going to see in terms of how this freestyle plays out. As a spectacle, we're going to move from eventing cross-country into a wholly different, but I would say no less impressive spectacle when the music comes, when the choreography of the routines come, the planning that has gone into every routine for each of these combinations. Right at the top there, we see the gold medal from today in Charlotte Fry, Lottie Fry, of course, and Glamourdale. They're also the defending champions of the last World Champions. They defended their Grand Prix special today. Will they defend their freestyle title? Glamourdale, I would say, when you see particularly the canter work, when you see what they're able to do in the second part of the combination, those big changes, this again feels very likely that they're going to be able to defend it. But what I'm like, look at this, what you're seeing now. For me, then I'm trying to find a different way in where you're thinking, Zonic Plus has been a horse that we've talked about so much with Justin Verboom and Amy all across the year, and last year when we were covering the European Championships, again that pair were the double winners there. That was a Grand Prix special plus a freestyle. I just wondered, there was a couple of mistakes in the team tests. Just Zonic Plus didn't look as comfortable. There was a couple of mistakes today in terms of the Grand Prix special. When you compare it to the flow state, I would say that Lottie Fry is in. I think there's a little bit of a gap. And if you were asking me at the start of the week, I might have had Zonic Plus ahead, certainly in the special. But I think Lottie Fry and Glamourdale are probably a little bit, I have them ahead at the moment. Then you have to go and say, okay, hometown hero Isabel Wirth with Wendy, of course, will come in. I'm fascinated by how this plays out. Again, they were just pipped to the medals. By Katharina. And the last one, I would say, before we go, Jägerbomb, the World Cup final winner. It's all in freestyles, the World Cup. This is a routine that is practiced, it's battle hardened, it's ready. I would say that you have a major shot at having a British 1-2. Which way that goes, I'm not sure yet, but a major chance for a British 1-2 tomorrow in the freestyle.
A major chance, and as we say with horse sport, it so often just has to land on the penny in the moment. Where will it land? Well, we've been catching up with some of the dressage riders throughout the course of the week, and the topic du jour was, of course, the freestyle. This is what they had to say.
I love my freestyle and I can't wait to ride it. The thought of riding in there, to 40,000 people in those stands tomorrow night is like, it's incredible. I'm already a real mixture of super excited and super, super nervous.
I am absolutely dying because I didn't prepare a freestyle, which everyone is now like, yesterday they were like, you don't have a freestyle? I was like, no, because I didn't think I'd make the special. So yesterday we went to another stable and borrowed a horse to ride some lines, and my freestyle guy fixed something of a freestyle last night. Very excited, very, very nervous.
I'm not known for my freestyles, but I've changed my style completely. I've gone for the crowd pleaser. Not me pleaser. So David Bowie, big compilation, big big tunes that I think a lot of people will know.
It's actually a freestyle that was made for Marshall Bell. He went did it the first time at the World Championships 4 years ago, and I debuted that freestyle with him, and then he was sold, so I never got to ride it again on him. So then Flash got it, and it actually almost fits him better. So it's actually quite amazing to be able to put a little bit of Marshall into this.
Oh, I love my freestyle, so it's going to be amazing to ride here. So yeah, that's super excited.
Not Carl Hester admitting he's got crap music taste. I think that's what he first said, and now he's gone for the crowd pleaser, not the Carl pleaser. So that's very interesting too. And the absolute story has been Simone Pearce, the Aussie there. She said, look, I didn't have the expectation that I would come through this far, and I haven't prepped a freestyle. So she's had to jag off to ride at another stable on another horse and put together a freestyle, which she'll pull out of the bag with Will Mark in that competition.
Isn't this what's so special though about preview?
Yeah. And Australians, they just
and Australians, of course. But we're going to come off a back of eventing, and I would encourage all equestrian fans. We come off the back of a day of watching something totally different. But when you have preview, those little Simone Pearce stories, the little tidbits that you're taking where you're saying, okay, he's gone for the crowd pleaser, not the car pleaser. These are the little moments, I think, that make me want to be like, what time is he on? You want to see that test.
Yeah.
If it goes anything like the special went in terms of that finish today, it will be really, really brilliant sport. And I'd encourage everyone from the eventing audience to hold and watch that freestyle finale.
Yeah, just settle yourselves in for an entire, almost 24-hour period of equestrian excellence. Our reporter Hannah Robson has been covering this last stages of the dressage for us, and actually to get some views on where we think things will be headed on that final day, she is joined by Gareth Hughes.
Simone Pearce had a really good test. She also said that she wasn't expecting to be so highly placed, and she didn't have a freestyle prepared. You've been at championships before. How would you feel in that situation?
Well, Simone probably wouldn't have expected. I mean, it's a very, very young horse. They're a new partnership. She's only done a handful of Grand Prix. Again, she was a little bit like Digne, coming into the year, she would have been hoping that she had a chance to get on the Aussie team. And then you start and you think, okay, well, yeah, I can knock this square out at Grand Prix. I can do that. In your head, you sort of do the maths and you think, okay, I could possibly in this place. But it's only the top 15 that go through. And she's just ridden herself into the final. So, yeah, I mean, she will have a freestyle. It just might not be his. Yeah. So what happens in this situation, because a lot of the times freestyles are expensive to put together and they're time consuming. And sometimes the horse you have in your first year of Grand Prix is different to the second year of Grand Prix. So you tend to hang back on your freestyle. So when you get to something like this, what you do is you'd fall back on one of your old ones.
Amazing. Well, we're really looking forward to seeing her.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
Who are you particularly looking forward to seeing in the freestyle then? It's going to be a big day tomorrow.
I think there's two things. There's nothing like Aachen. There is just nothing like it. Yeah, there's going to be 40,000 people. It's going to be under lights. The atmosphere is going to be electric. All World Games are big, but then there's Aachen. So that's going to make it very exciting. And now we have at least 4 that we're looking at that are fighting for the medals, and then there are now a couple that have ridden themselves up into being able to push Becky, for one, from winning the World Cup. But when we get the likes of freestyle, the freestyle Glamourdale, Wendy, Zonic Plus, those, it's going to be really, really tight. So I think it's going to be down to, it's probably who's going to lose it rather than win it, because they're all going to come out and hopefully lay down their best test possible, and it's fantastic for the sport.
Well, thank you so much for that. Great to hear your thoughts.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah, great to hear the thoughts of Gareth Hughes there, and the man himself at the far now there wearing the Kiwi shirt, because he is actually coaching the eventing team in their dressage for New Zealand. He was born in the UK, lives in the UK now, rides for Team GB when he's competing, but he lived in Australia for a really large chunk of his life. So there you go. He's like the United Nations all in one man.
Australia are back in. We found a way to get him back.
We've tried to get him back, to be fair, but he doesn't seem super keen. Oh, well, never mind. So there is plenty coming up on the Saturday. Of course, we are doing day 5 of this World Championships. Let's run you through once again what to expect. Your TV viewing schedule kicks off nice and early, 8:30 a.m. for the free test in the vaulting. That'll get underway in Ring 3. 9:15 a.m. is when you want to be tuning in for that all-important cross-country phase in the eventing. And 7 p.m, so it's an evening's worth of viewing for the Dressage Championships. The final medal will be awarded in the Grand Prix Freestyle. And of course, it is all here on FEI TV and Clip My Horse TV with a premium subscription. And we will be here at the end of the day, kind of in the middle of everything, with you live at 7 p.m. Well, Dee, if he hasn't melted away by then or sort of evaporated into another ether, he will be with us to talk about what happened in the cross country.
You're right. No, I'll calm by that stage, but a lot to dissect ahead of a big day on Sunday as well. For
big day on Sunday, and a little bit of a taste of what will be to come in the dressage as well. We're going to love you and leave you. Until then, enjoy all of your equestrian sport here on Clip My Horse TV. It's been a pleasure to be with you. Dee, thank you very much. And until we see you next time, take care.
The best horse feed for the best athletes. German horse feed since 1905.
He's up and over, he's got goals! 13.
Against the clock, it really didn't matter. Mickey, defender Kentucky.
No scriptwriter could have ever written a better story.